Let me taste your tears. Your tears are so yummy and sweet. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy.
Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action. We are back with a metal update. It's got to be a fairly large one. I'm going to try and get through it as quick as I can. We've got all formats here. We've got CDs, tapes, and LPs. But we're going to take a look at tapes first. A particularly special entry, and it's also the one that we're listening to. This is the Noxious Ruin compilation cassette that comes with the magazine. This is awesome. This is a really new death metal magazine. This is the first issue. Came out around July. Only just got my copy. Copies of issue 1 already sold out. Issue 2 is, I think, sold out in the States, but Extremely Rotten Productions just put their copies up today. It's got mad posters, sort of articles. There's an interview here with Autopsy that's many pages. I don't want to ruin it and go through everything, but man, this is something that we've needed for ages. A glossy, nothing but death metal magazine. And like I said, so issue 1 sold out. It's practically a book. Like, this thing is thick. It's a proper production. But issue 2, you can get your copy from Extremely Rotten Productions right now, and that comes with a compilation tape, just like the first one. So again, this is the tape that comes with it, and it's got, what about 12 or 13 tracks here. We're listening to Undergang, there's then Phobophilic, Foul Decay, Chaotian, Sedimentum. I mean, it's got Encoffinized, it's got Torso. 1 track from each band, Anatomia's on here. And this comes free with the magazine. Nice fold out. And then all the awesome logos on the back. So yeah, definitely try and support this. The shipping to get this and the tape, not exactly cheap. But from Extremely Rotten Productions, who I think are in Denmark, the shipping to Australia is actually pretty good, but from the US it wasn't so good. So yeah, definitely jump on this. We'll move on to the next stuff that highly recommended. The next tape I got, and I got these all from Extremely Rotten Productions in the one order. Makes sense to save on postage. This is Chthonic Deity with the compilation demo. This is Reassembled in Pain, the 7-inch plus 2. It actually says plus 2 on it, which is the 2 tracks from their split with Rune Magic. Chthonic Deity, if you don't know them, it's a nice sort of clear greenish bluish tape. If you don't know these guys, I don't want to say super group, but anyway, it's the singer guitarist from Blood Incantation, the drummer from Ascended Dead, and I think it's the other guitarist from Skolex. I think that's how this is put together. Anyway, having Blood Incantation vocals makes it familiar sounding, but the music is more traditional death metal. It's less otherworldly than Blood Incantation. It's got more in the way of just a straightforward groove, really nice melodic hooks, and those vocals are fantastic, of course. The plus 2 tracks from the Rune Magic split are a little bit more raw, but the 7-inch stuff is more polished, and it's really good. So far this is all they've done. It's just 5 tracks in total, I think. I think it's just 5 tracks, but definitely worth checking out. Many options. You can get the 7-inch to just get the main stuff. This comp tape gives you the extra 2 tracks. You can buy the split with Rune Magic and get the tracks that way. Either way, get some Chthonic Deity into your life because they are awesome. Speaking of awesome, wow. I'm going to have to make sure I do a top list of EPs at the end of this year because Ancient Crypts are going to be on it. This is outstanding. These guys are from Chile, I think. And I've played this about 8 times already. Absolutely outstanding. It's sort of slow to mid-pace, real crushing death metal, but it's got this massive atmosphere with it. It's everything I want from a modern death metal band. It's not overly produced, but it's not too underproduced. It's got some speed when it needs it, but it mainly stays in the mid-pace and just punishing thick sound to it. Man, this is just so good. Like I said, I've played it like 7-8 times now. Black tape. I think it's only 3 tracks. It goes so quick. I just let the cassette deck autoplay the second side because it's just so good. There is a 10-inch LP apparently available, though at the time I found it hard to find. But the tape was much easier to find. I don't think there's a CD EP of this yet. But who knows what will come out. Hopefully there'll be an album soon, because Ancient Crypts, this is fantastic. Inhaling the Fumes of a Burning Carcass is the name of this. It really has a sound that goes with this sort of like, you know, that looks like something more, but Angel would use on like Blessed Are the Sick. You know, it's that kind of death metal, but just a thicker and doomier sound. And yeah, Ancient Crypts, outstanding. Cannot talk enough about this one. Fantastic stuff. So if you get one thing out of this update, make it that. But not without their charm. This is Sadistic Drive, Finnish death grind band, and it's see that cover? That is what you're listening to. It is just straight ahead, bulldozing Finnish death grind. Pretty raw, no frills, melody, get the hell out, you don't need that, just belt out the death grind. And because it's Finnish, it has that thick Finnish death metal sound in there as well, green tape. But it's very dirty sound. This is on Head Split Records. There you go. This is actually like a full-length album, but it's just not too long because it is death grind. I think there's a CD of this one as well, but the tape was there and easy to get. And raw Finnish death grind sounds good on tape, so I'm happy with this one. The album is called Anthropophagy, or Anthropophagy. I'm not sure how we actually say that, but anyway, Sadistic Drive, very good. And the last tape, which I got not from Extremely Rotten Productions, I had to get this one from Death Cult Productions when they released it. I'm stoked to get the new Lamp of Murmur. This is the Hair of Ecliptical Romanticism album. It is the artist's first album. He's done like at least 2 demos this year, and then in the years before that, like 2 demos every other year up to 2018. It's a very recent band. Everyone knows Lamp of Murmur at this point. The one of the most well-known lo-fi raw black metal bands at the moment, and with good reason. Of course, his material is just some of the best in the style. When it comes to this new album, he is already, he is just one, well, it could be a she, we actually have absolutely no idea who this person is, but it's one person project, performs all the instruments. This new album is an absolute monster of riffs. The opening track completely threw me off guard. Like, the material on the previous stuff is very good, of course, that's why I've been following the band, but it's all got a very similar raw black metal sound, followed by, you know, a dark ambient or just an instrumental piece, and then some more raw black metal. This thing started with what I could only describe as, I mean, there was like 8 bars of sort of blasting raw black metal, so here you go, familiar, and then it sounded to me like the chord progression for the Game of Thrones theme song. It threw me for 6, and I went, what? Which not only was, you know, kind of funny, but was also one of the most melodic things at this point this artist had done. And it's not the only time that it's that melodic on this album. That riff is used quite a bit. There is the actual title track is an instrumental and is a hugely atmospheric, emotive piece. It's an instrumental for the first few minutes, I should say. It's not fully instrumental. It takes a long time to get to the vocals. And it's completely fantastic. It's also got 2 re-recordings of material from the early demos, and that's where you can tell the shift, because they're more traditional raw black metal. But the new material is just taken up another notch. This is going to appear on many end-of-year lists, I'm sure. The LP will come out in December. The first lot's already sold out, of course, because it's Lamp of Murmur, it happens every time, but they have said that this thing and all the previous releases will come back into print, so that's good. Don't pay flipper prices on Discogs for this guy's material. Just wait for a bit. This is the Death Cult one, as I said. I think it was limited to 100. They went in a minute, something ridiculous. You just needed to know to get it at the time. But Lamp of Murmur, excellent stuff. We're going to continue with the CDs now, and there's a lot of pairs and triplets in here. I kind of just bought everything that a particular band had that I could get my hands on. And the first one is Fluids. This is a Maggot Stomp band. This is Exploitive Practices, and this one is Little Villages, which is a compilation of demo tracks and things. So Fluids. You think it's going to be sort of Carcass stuff from that, but it's not. This sounds like Mortician combined with every second-rate, and I don't say that in a bad way, every second-rate gore grind band you can think of, combined with Mortician, including the drum machine, playing at stupid speeds. Fluids. It originally, when I listened to it online, I was going through all the Maggot Stomp stuff when this first came out, did not appeal to me. The obvious drum machine wasn't doing it for me. I love the way that the tracks are shown on this one. Yeah, the drum machine wasn't doing it for me. The very simplistic guitars, it's like just like early Mortician, it's just tuned to A. It just sounds like, you know, distorted bass rather than guitar. It's just anyway. But I listened to it again and then again, and it really started to grow on me. As I said, this one's sort of the comp of demos. So it's obviously, you know, medical and gore themed. You know, the song titles, Heinous Ritual, Arterial Rift, Piled, Bagged, Tagged. That's 3 tracks there. You know what you're getting. And yeah, it's probably not for everybody, but I was surprised. I actually, really dug Fluids. I want to get a few more of their releases. There's an EP and some other things. So yeah, I like the very old school design on this. It's even got the old Stop the Madness. Is it the real one? No, it's Stop the Weak Shit. I like that. Stop the weak shit with bones crushed. Weak shit is no fun. Weak shit endangers the life and happiness of millions. It must stop. We appeal in particular to the youth, the young cavemen and women of today. Life is better with no weak shit. There you go. So yeah, they're an entirely, fairly stupid band, and that's fine. I like it. Fluids, good fun. Speaking of kind of stupid, and again, I don't say that in, any negative way. It just is what it is. I had this EP from this band when it came out, Disgorge Cranial Impalement, and I must have gotten over this style of very brutal death metal and let it go. But I tripped over it again recently. It's kind of out of print. This is from Extremities Productions, which had a relationship with Repulse Records, so it's kind of difficult to find their stuff. It is like your typical, United Guttural type death metal band. Just brutal for the sake of brutal. The vocals on this are pig squeal. You have absolutely no chance in deciphering anything that is being said. But it's fun. It is fun. It is stupid and it is fun. Cranial Impalement. Now, I could have stopped there, but I did not. And you have to excuse the poster notes because boobs. This one is She Lay Gutted, which is a bit misogynistic, but this came out in 2002 or something. Lots of bands were doing that. Unique Leader Records, this one. And this is technically an improvement on the EP. The material is slightly more progressive. The vocals have better enunciation. Now that's what I really appreciated in this. It is still brutal death metal vocals. You still can't understand a word of it. Not that that matters, but it's not just re. It is, you can tell there's something else going on there, and that actually makes a world of difference. This album is far improved over the EP. So you're just sitting there staring at me, shaking the word boobs around. I just realised, but anyway. Yeah, it's just fun, stupid, brutal death metal. Tracks like Compost Devourment, False Conception, Womb Full of Scars. You know, it's cheery stuff. And then they followed it up with Convulsing the Forsaken. This is the third album. I've only given this one a quick listen so far, but it's much similar to the other album. Just brutal death metal. Again, this one's on Unique Leader Records, and it's just more of the same. It's fun. There's a fourth album. You know, I picked these up because they were for sale. These were on Facebook, and some guy was selling them for $10 each, and they're worth more than that because they're kind of hard to find. And I thought, look, let's give them another go and try out the albums. And I'm glad I did, because the albums are an improvement over the EP. So that's Disgorge, the American Disgorge, not the Mexican Disgorge. Speaking of boobs, we're going to look at Lord Gore. Lord Gore. So this is another Razorback Records style band from, what's his name? Maniac. I can't remember his name. Maniac something. The guy behind Blood Freak and Frightmare, those sort of gory death grind, gory death thrash, horror themed bands on Razorback Records, also did Lord Gore. This is the first one, which is the Autophagus Orgy, and it's pretty good. It's got a big Category 3 thing on the back there. I like this stuff. It's actually got a fair amount of melody in there, because if you know those other bands like Blood Freak and Frightmare, it is similar. This is kind of similar to Frightmare, but without the thrash. It focuses more on the death metal, but the guitar leads are very similar, the vocals are very similar. So yeah, that's Lord Gore and their first one. That's on Razorback. Things, I think, again, improved. This one is really re-sickened, also on Razorback, and also with boobs. Sorry. And the quality just went up again. It's just, again, fun, gory death metal with surprising amount of melody and not so much in the way of thrash. Lots of grind, good stuff. And that was it from them for a long time, until this one. This album came out, I think it was the end of last year. This is Scalpels for Blind Surgeons, and look, I freaking love this artwork. I don't know what else to say. That artwork is absolutely amazing. I think it's fantastic. And this is, it's almost like they were working up to this, like they took a long break and then thought, let's put out the best we can. And this is completely Lord Gore refined, just better quality everything. It's still that fun, silly, gory death metal, but with samples and things like that. But just the quality of the riffs, the quality of the songs overall has improved. This one's put out by Everlasting Spew Records, which is a hilarious name for a record company. Out of Italy, I think that's where they're from. So it's kind of difficult to get for a bit, but then a local distributor out here picked them up. I did get the tape a while ago, but he had the CD cheap, and then I recently picked up the other two, so I thought, get them all on CD. And well worth it. Good, fun band, Lord Gore. And there's the inside. So definitely check out, if you're going to check out at least one of them, check out this latest one, because I think that's definitely the most mature album they've done. And how can I say the word mature about a band called Lord Gore, and I've had to cover 2 albums with boob stickers? But anyway, complete change of pace now. We're going to look at this one, a band called Eisen Tor, which was a side project for Solstice, doom metal band Solstice. This was this could be 8 or 9, maybe even 10 years old, and I heard it ages ago. I love that cover. Very sort of epic British warfare kind of thing going on there. Poor Monk is copying it. Traditional Iron Maiden sounding heavy metal is what you get with Eisen Tor. But because it's from Solstice, it does have that doom metal vibe in there as well. There's 3 tracks, but one of them is a demo version of the second track. So you get Mighty and Superior and the Theomachist, I don't know. Both tracks are like 9 minutes long, and each track is an epic long journey with lots of lots of changes to the music flow, lots of time signature changes. It gets faster and slower. As I said, it's just straightforward heavy metal. It's not, you know, a thrash band or anything like that, but with a bit of doom metal in it, in the traditional doom metal sound, not death doom or anything like that. This is just plain old heavy metal, Eisen Tor. It was a one and done sort of EP. I guess something bit of fun for the Solstice guys to do, because there's nothing else to come out of it, which is a bit of a shame. And yeah, I sat on it for ages, and finally it came up for sale again, and I picked it up. So definitely pick it up. Don't even know if it's got a name. It does. Mighty and Superior, which is the name of the first track. It's also the name of the EP. Eisen Tor. Definitely recommended. Next one is the EP from Ossuarium. This one is called Calcified Trophies of Violence. This came out 2 years ago, and it's before their album that came out last year. So what you get here is sort of doomy death metal, but it is less doomy than the album. It is more just straight ahead death metal. It's got a sort of a horror theme going on again. Obviously, look, there's the obvious graveyard photo there. Tracks Chapel of Bone, Deleterious Mutation, Abhorrent Travesty of the Human Shape. This one's a nice sort of little digipack CD EP out on Blood Harvest, and like I said, it's just what it gives you, what it says on the tin. It's just horror themed, doomy death metal. That's, you know, not quite to the I don't want to say to the standard, because that's not pretty fair. It's just not quite to the level that they got to on the album. Obviously, if they do an EP, they get better and do the album. So when you go backwards, you're getting material that's just not as good as the album, in my opinion. It is still very good though. Death Doom from Ossuarium. So yeah, definitely check it out. If you like the album and you're going to go backwards, check it out. This is a new band. This is Blood Spore. Yeah, this is really good fun. This is Fungal Warfare Upon All Life. And their whole little shtick is that their lyrics are all about fungus. Somebody must be a biology major in this group, I don't know. But 3-track EP. Very good, very strong, thick, heavy death doom. With the vocals are more raspy like black metal. So that's a really nice mix there of the crushing sound of death doom, but with a more black metal vocal. I really like that contrast in bands like this. It's never much more than mid-paced. Lots of just rolling double kicks, which I really like. Lots of dissonant guitars. Like, you've heard a lot of bands sort of similar to this. There's a bit of Suffering Hour. There's a bit of the Ruins of Beverath style when they're being a little less weird. It's just sort of crushing, evil sounding stuff. As evil as you can get when you're talking about mushrooms and fungus anyway. Yeah, really good EP. As I said, it's out on Blood Harvest. Fungal Warfare Upon All Life. Do check it out. And the last CD we're going to look at is one that at least people may know of. I appreciate some obscure things here, but we all know Benediction, their latest album. This is Scriptures, and came out only a month or so ago, maybe 6 weeks, on Nuclear Blast Records, and it's really good. It is really good. I'm sort of at that point now when bands come back after a hiatus, when they're a bigger band, like a Nuclear Blast band or an Earache band. Like, oh, here we go, you know, the old men are dusting off their hats, and it's not going to be as good as what we expect. This album from Benediction was way better than I was expecting. Is it to the level of Subconscious Terror? No. Is it to the level of, you know, any of their earlier 90s material? Not quite. But it's better than anything I think they did after the Grotesque Ashen Epitaph EP. They did that Grind Bastard album, and they just lost me after that point. That album was trash, and I checked a few things out later and had absolutely no interest. But this one, they've obviously gone back and said what made this band good, and they've just released. It's Benediction. They sound like Benediction. They're one of the early British death metal bands, mostly mid-paced, sometimes fairly slow, and just fun 12 tracks of death metal. Dave Ingram is back on vocals. His voice has improved. He's always been one of those death metal vocalists where you can understand completely everything he's saying. You know, the way he enunciates everything is right there. It's easy to understand every word of this. You know, it's a bit like how I listen to Creator. That's sort of the impression I get with Dave. It's sort of that very easy to understand but heavy vocal. You know, like modern Creator. And yeah, excellent stuff. Can't argue. It's just Benediction, and it's their new album on Nuclear Blast for 2020. So Scriptures, check it out if you've written Benediction off or just forgotten about them, or if you do like everything they've done but haven't checked it out yet, check out Scriptures from Benediction. Next up, we've got the LPs, and we're just going to rip through them as quick as I can. More Lamp of Murmur. This one is The Burning Spears of Crimson Agony. This one came out in July, so this is the last demo that he put out before the album. So this is 4 tracks, 2 of lo-fi raw black metal and 2 of his sort of ambient, I guess we just call them ambient pieces. They're not just, you know, droning sounds. There's music to them. It's not as good as the album because that album has completely blown me away, but this is up there with the best of all of his other releases. It just really is on top of all of that current wave of lo-fi raw black metal. Stands above pretty much all the other bands. You know, Lamp of Murmur and Vampiric Rites are the two of my favourites from that style. And yeah, this one came out on Black Gangrene. Again, it went out. This is the second press of this, actually. It went out of print, then went out of print again, but they've said it will come back in print. They just do low runs, and you got to be there at the time. But this print run was on a very nice red LP, which goes with the cover, and it's really good stuff. Of course, as I said, it's Lamp of Murmur, so everything that he's put out so far has been really good quality lo-fi raw black metal. So yes, Burning Spears of Crimson Agony, very good. The next one, I should have taken the glossy sleeves off, so apologies if you're getting some glare. This is I'm probably going to say it wrong. It's Scarth na Daith. I'm going to say it wrong because that's a Gaelic name. These guys are from Ireland, and their previous album from last year, I'm pretty sure I had it on my top 10 list because this band is just fantastic. It's an atmospheric death black band, real Irish flair to it. It's got real crushing, slow pieces that would fit with, you know, with death doom band. It's got you know, faster blasting pieces to it. But the riffs is what keeps this one really flowing through. Like, it's highly melodic, impassioned, emotive, massively emotive black death metal. And yeah, I have played this new album twice through so far. I think it eclipses last year's album. It's a lot to take in. It's a very deep and heavy album. There's the back. Definitely one that I'm going to have to spend quite a lot of time with to really, you know, decompress what's going on. Black LP, nothing too exciting. You know, the lyric sheet's got some nice sort of little traditional drawings there, which are really pretty. Scarth na Daith. It has a translation, and I did look up the translation of what that means, and of course I promptly forgot what it means, so I will write it down here of what that band name means. But what the band means is top quality, very emotive, blackened death doom metal. Scarth na Daith, check them out. And the next one we're going to check out, and the next two we're going to check out, are these 2 LPs I got from Unholy. I picked these ones up used, but they were not used. This is Trip to Depressive Autumn, which was the last demo the band put out in, I think it was like 92, before they did their first full-length album. These LP reissues are put out by Northern Heritage about 8 or so years ago. I don't think they're too hard to find. They're definitely on Discogs, but I found mine, in the wild, and I was happy about that. So, Unholy, you should know. Finish, very slow Death Doom, funeral Death Doom, really, particularly the early stuff. And this last demo of 4 tracks is completely crushing, absolutely crushing stuff. The vocals are just off the wall, screaming, nasty stuff, which, when you contrast it with just the slow, punishing music, it's fantastic. So like I said, this is the last demo they did. They did like 4 demos in a row. And it's just black LP. Not sure why I took it out, really. Nothing much to show there. So as well as this one, I got this guy, which came out at the same time. Demo 11/90 plus Procession of Black Doom. So this was the demo material that led up to the last demo and then the album. It's just like a journey to see how this band progressed. It's still crushing Death Doom. Some of it's a bit more deathy, still finding their feet. This is double LP, not a gatefold. They just sort of slipped in there. You get, I think it's about a dozen tracks, and the first one is the demo 11/90. That's the first LP, and then Procession of Black Doom is the second LP. So you get, I think it's just the LPs again. Not sure if there was anything else. Yes, there was. Booklet. That's right. Cool booklet on the band history. Some nice photos from the time period. It's really cool stuff. I haven't dug into this. That's very nice to have in the set. And I love that. Just, at this point they're just kids playing in an early Finnish death metal scene. I mean, we're talking 1990, which means they would have been, coming up with this whole thing in the 89 kind of period. So it's really good to hear the early sounds of Unholy, which is a band that I kind of missed originally. I've since caught up on their CDs and really enjoy them. And great to see where they came from on this compilation there. So Unholy. Going forward to 2018, this is Zealot Cult with Spiritual Sickness. Oh wow, if this was in my possession in 2018, it would have made that top 10 list, but passed me by. If you got Martin Van Drunen from Asphyx to sing on Morbid Angel's Covenant, you would get this album. It is absolutely amazing stuff. I don't know what else I could say about it. Really clear sound. I think that must completely just describe it to you. It's Martin Van Drunen's style vocals, and the music itself is Covenant/Domination era Morbid Angel. It's awesome. It's on Blood Harvest again, and I got nothing else to really say, which is, I've explained it in my comparison. I think Zealot Cult, just get it. It's essential stuff. It is absolutely fantastic. I love the artwork on it as well. Crushing death metal without being, crushing death doom, or without being blasty death grind. It's just death metal played in an old school style with old school style vocals, and it's fantastic. I think Mark G with the C, if you're watching, you check out Zealot Cult, because that's going to be up your alley. And we're checking out some older stuff now. This one just came in yesterday after 2.5 months journey from the States. I thought it was lost. This is Coven with Blessed is the Black. What amazing artwork this has got on it. So this is a is it 89, I think, sort of speed thrash metal band. Clean vocals. I don't want to say it's progressive, but they get a bit weird. That's what's really appealing about them. It is at its core a speedy thrash metal band, but there's something else there that's just making them a little bit strange. little bit avant-garde at times, particularly that guy's hair. Anyway, this came brand new in the shrink, has a saw cut because it was a promo copy, but otherwise it was brand new. Suffered a tiny bit of warp damage from its time in the post, which was a shame. I'll have to go get it flattened. But this was recommended to me by Ben Brain Smasher, and it was a very, very impressive recommendation, I've got to say. He showed on his channel, well, back in September, that I pretty much ordered it the same day when I found out, because I think he got it from the same eBay seller that sells the new old stock of this. Probably still has copies of it. Yeah, definitely check out this band. They changed their name, I think, to something silly like Common 6669 or something. I'm not too sure what any of the material after this album sounds like, but this one, if you like your old thrash and you like it a little bit different, it's a bit more speed metal because I said, like, the vocals are clean. I think it's definitely worth checking out if you've never heard this band before. So Coven, very good. Here's one that I'm sure people have heard. That is, and I'm going to take this one straight out of the sleeve, Asphyx, The Rack. OG press. I got this one out in the wild from one of my usual honeypot holes. Century Media gatefold. Didn't pay stupid price for it either. You get a bit lucky with some of these early Century Medias. They're not disgusting prices compared to some of the early Nuclear Blast. But man, I love the art on this one. It's a slight variation of the CD. And I mean, speaking of Martin Van Drunen and Asphyx, here it is, their debut album. And yeah, like I said, it's the original. Don't know why I'm getting it out. I'm not going to get it out. It's black vinyl. Everyone knows Asphyx. They are one of the first, well, at least one of the most well-known. Here I am re-sleeving on camera. Real crunching death doom. They are the band I think of when someone says death doom metal, and when they're not meaning funeral doom or anything like that, when they just think death doom metal, as in doom metal infused into death metal, I think of Asphyx, and I think a lot of people do as well. The Rack, absolutely outstanding. Very happy to have it on the LP. There's not much more to say. And the same goes for this one. Another OG on Century Media. This is Unleashed, Where No Life Dwells. Stoked again to get this one. Paid the exact same amount of money for it, not too terrible. And you know, you like early Swedish death metal like Entombed and Dismember and Grave, well, if you're gonna have a big four, Unleashed were in that big four. They're probably the band out of that four that don't get talked about the most, but geez, they're prolific. They've put out, you know, a dozen albums or something at this point. This is the one that really speaks to me the most. I can't say that follow-on albums that I've heard really did much for me. They had a bit of a Viking theme going on, but they don't sound Viking death metal. They just had a bit of a Viking theme. And yeah, what can I say? It's the original press of Where No Life Dwells from Unleashed. Swedish death metal, and from the early, like 91, 92, 91. It's as OG as you're going to get. Awesome. And we've got two more left to go, and then I'll let you all go back to bed or whatever you're going to be doing. I'm going to be going to bed, that's for sure. This one, Slaughter Strapato. I've been eyeing this thing off for years and years. And it was one of those ones I said, I have no interest in getting this on any kind of reissue. If I'm going to get Strapato, I have to get the original. And when I started to buy LPs, I thought Strapato is going to be one of those ones that I have to find on wax. It's just going to sound the best. You know, Slaughter, the Canadian death thrash, one of the earlier death thrash style bands. And yeah, this is the Diabolic Force original. I got this off Discogs. I got it for a pretty good price, about the same as those previous two OGs. And yep, there you go. So I was stoked to get this. Definitely one of those want list items that's been crossed off. There's the inner sleeve. I always like when they do photo collages, the lyrics. So yeah, Strapato from Slaughter, a massively awesome, brutal fast death thrash band. It's over before you even know. It's shorter than Rain in Blood. It's like 25 minutes or something. The grooves on it are so wide. It's a real short album. But yeah, they achieve what they wanted to do with Strapato. So Slaughter, the good Slaughter, not the silly glam metal Slaughter. Slaughter from Canada. Strapato. And last but absolutely not least, one band I didn't have on vinyl at all is Slayer, and I thought I needed to really push the boat out and get some Slayer, and I wasn't going to get any of the 3,000 reissues. I wanted something from the original masters, and I found Show No Mercy. This is not the Metal Blade press, but this is the Roadrunner. I think it's Roadrunner or Road Racer. We'll find out in a second. But this is the 84. I think it's the 84 reissue. As I said, the Metal Blade was the first one. So there you go, inner sleeve. Everyone knows the material on Show No Mercy. It is the Roadrunner. There you go. Not Road Racer, not RC. Never quite worked out the difference between them. Perhaps they're location based. RC is one country, Road Racer is another. One of those things I should have looked up by now. But anyway, absolutely fantastic. For my money, it's Slayer's best. Controversial perhaps. Some would say Rain in Blood, some would say Hell Awaits. But I think the youthful display of thrash metal on this is just untouchable. I mean, the Antichrist, Die by the Sword, Black Magic, Tormentor, Cryonics. This thing is amazing. It sounds fantastic on this LP. I'm very stoked to have it. It's this the Metal Blade's the first press, but this is the first European press, and I got it cheap. And that's the best thing about it. It was on Discogs. I don't know. It had a couple of little damage bits there. The sticker came off. Nothing that a little bit of black texture doesn't cover up, and I think that took a fair chunk of money off. So whatever. I'm stoked. It plays like mint. Slayer, Show No Mercy on Roadrunner, and that is it. That is my fairly large CD, record and tape and magazine haul for the start of November 2020. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.